Black Myth Wukong gameplay.
Yes.
And if you guys haven't heard of this, this is another interesting game I'm kind of excited for too.
I'm so excited for it.
Once I started, watching some of this gameplay, I've only heard bits and pieces, but I usually don't get excited until I actually see gameplay. And I saw gameplay of this, and I was like, "Wow, this is a good take on Wukong. This is actually a good take." Oh, for me, this it has that Dark Souls combat experience is the best way I can put it for starting out.
So what I was told, like what I saw a little bit on it, was like it was going to be Dark Souls in some ways, but I think he'd also say like Sekiro in like some other aspects.
Yes, I would say yes.
It's gonna be like a fine blend in between the two, which will be interesting. So like it'll have like the points of dexterity and so on, dex, strength, all that. But it'll also have like the limited amount of weapons, so you're not switching between. He'll have like his staff more than likely throughout the whole thing. So you're not, going through your weapons.
I would expect that's pretty much going to be his primary thing because
I think so. He has two other things in Yoibo, which that's the staff's name. But he also has the cloud that he's able to ride around on, and then he also has the lightning strike he's able to call down. But those are just lore topics on him.
When you mentioned that, I want you to think about what you just said. So you have the staff.
Yep.
And he has a cloud.
Yep.
And of course he has a monkey tail, right?
Okay, listen, it's not Dragon Ball.
I hate to break it to you, but Son Goku is based
Wukong.
Off of
Yeah,
Wukong.
No, I got that part pretty early on.
But the thing is, like, his staff is the most meaningful thing because you can change different sizes on whatever he feels like.
And he is he is the only one able to use it.
Yes, he was the only one that was able to actually wield it.
Yeah, you can't say control it because it's a being that staff there. It has a mind of its own. Because
as the novel puts out there, the staff weighs 8,000 kilograms almost, or for you Americans, that'd be 17,500-ish pounds.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. Meaning that's period. All right. No matter, as far as I could, I didn't get too far into it, but as far as I could tell, that's any size. That's
you gotta remember. Look at Wukong hold it right there. That don't look like it's meant to be, 1,700 pounds or something. You know what I'm saying?
As a side note,
could you imagine getting hit by that?
That hurt, especially how fast he swings.
Oh yeah.
Not to mention that when he's not wielding it, he shrinks it down to the size of a sewing needle and puts it in his ear.
I didn't know that. That's really smart. That's a good spot to put it. Usually, he just any form of media that I've ever seen, he usually just kind of calls upon it.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Well, the old novel. I mean, that's what he does.
That's a really smart thing to do, though. I mean, like, who's gonna check your ear for a staff?
Okay, let's see what this Wukong does.
Since Black Myth Wukong released its first trailer 3 years ago, every year on August 20th, the developer Game Science has shown something new about the development progress of the game. However, what's different this year is that we finally got to play it. My 45-minute demo provided 3 boss fights and a relatively complete chapter experience. It's worth noting that after the event, the dev team made some
It looks so good, man.
But also like how he's twirling the staff and blocking all projectiles.
That was really cool.
Like he's moving it so fast. I mean, that's a nice little...
If you see, like, he's moving it so fast that the wind around him becomes a mirage.
Yeah, do you see? Yeah, did you notice that?
Insanely fast. It's not like no, it's enough to affect the air around it.
Yes, it's affecting the environment around him. That's actually pretty key.
Some adjustments to the trial version based on the feedback and suggestions received during the closed-door evaluation that I participated in. As a result, my experience...
Also, that little stoning skill, that's actually from the novel, too.
It may differ slightly from what others experienced in Hangzhou and at Gamescom in Cologne.
Ow.
Due to time limitations, this trial version did not include the level up system. However, it provided players with a set of skills and equipment that will be obtained in the mid-game of the final version. In addition to basic light and heavy attacks, the protagonist's attack stances can be switched between 3 different postures, including smash form, pillar form, and thrust form at any time. Furthermore, spells such as Immobilize, Stone Solid, Ring of Fire, and the Pluck of Many are also available for use. There are also 2 transformation abilities. One turns you into the previously seen Fireblade Wolf, and the other results in a creature with poisonous attacks. Additionally, players will find and collect certain potions for in-game use.
Wow, okay.
It looks so good.
That's
so good.
Between the thrusting and the pillar and slam, so on and so forth, how it changes the staff.
Mm-hmm.
That's so, in a way, that's pretty unique for just one weapon. With that being part of the thing is that's going to be part of the combat mechanics, fighting all the bosses and so on, the enemies and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Man.
The fact that it just seems like it's very simple, I'd feel like it's not going to be that simple.
Another thing is, you see how like he's not having to look his camera up at all. Like he's able to look at it straight on. So he's not having to mess with the camera too often to like figure out what the boss's next move is going to be so he can read it. No, he can just look at the boss normally instead of having to like have half of it stuck into the dirt, so that way he can actually figure out what's next.
Right. Where the camera angle or how far back it is.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think we talked about this on the, when we talking about Path of Exile, the exact same thing. It's like the camera gets pulled back and you can see so much more without having to mess with the camera so much. Again,
free.
The reason why this was like this in the first place wasn't because it was some,
revolutionary
and AI. No,
amazing.
it was a limitation of technology at the time.
They couldn't zoom out. It's not like they didn't want to. They couldn't. Now that we can, let's. Please. I want to see the game, not my character.
So we've noticed that there's actually poison in the game. So that's something else you got to contend with if you get smacked by it.
That's a little... Yeah, it's a debuff. I kind of saw that one coming.
It's important to note that these configurations may vary slightly depending on the different stages. The first boss is named Centipede Gwai, and it appeared in the first 13-minute gameplay trailer released in 2020. This time, it awaits players in a horrible cave. Its attack methods include rolling and heavy punches, as well as the ability to release poisonous gas. This gas inflicts a slow-acting poison effect on the protagonist, causing gradual health loss, which can only be cured by consuming antidote potions. However, this boss is considered relatively easy overall in terms of difficulty for this trial version. After becoming familiar with its attack patterns, most players should be able to defeat it easily. The second boss is...
It looked pretty easy, I won't lie. Looked like a good first boss.
But I would say
crazy.
From Wukong's movements, it seemed like pretty fluid when he was doing the combos and attacks.
Oh, yes. It was just seamless. It looked like... I couldn't tell whether it was an ability or he was just pressing a button. And I don't know what button. It just looks so good. So seamless.
Very true.
Nothing looks too, like... Nothing looks like, oh, yeah, that's obviously why. Or that's obviously a spell. It looks so fluid. Everything one right after another just seems like it was meant to be like that. Like that's how the fight was supposed to play out. Like nothing went wrong.
And it literally could be him just smashing the same button, which is...
It could, absolutely. Which is perfectly fine too.
Yes.
You can't tell. It looks visually pleasing. If your eye it gets caught away from your controller, then it's perfectly fine. No one really cares.
Yeah, I think the amazing thing is I've seen so many games here in the past few years where they can't even get that concept down.
This is the Macaque Chief, as seen...
Yes, he did say macaque. Calm down.
Yeah,
in the Snow Mountain of the 2021 trailer. This time, players can experience the sequence just as it was shown. You can observe how the protagonist's movements and...
I love the way that enemy fights. A macaque is a monkey, and he just threw, like, he swung his sword with his foot or his other hand. I love that. That was so cool.
Pretty nice quick switch. Yeah, that's It's a nice
Wukong doesn't wear
small
shoes very often. It'd be super cool if he like swung the staff around with his feet and just like socked you with his other hand and like spun it back around. That'd be cool.
It's a DLC.
Combat in the snow-covered terrain dynamically affect the accumulation of snow in real time. This battle also holds a secret. If the macaque
Alright, so as you're fighting there and the snow accumulates, it actually affects the environment. You move, which I take it you're going to move slower.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's
I find
a
it
nice
might
little
be
thing.
a little annoying, yes, but that's part of the fight now. That it's an actual thing. It's an environment. You are in that environment. That's kind of the issues.
True.
Chief's health is reduced to half within a certain time, it triggers his second phase. To encounter the monkey with wings, the protagonist needs to venture deeper into the scene. In this state, the monkey's aggression, attack range, and attack patterns all increase significantly. It gains the ability to launch aerial assaults against the player, making for a thrilling and intense encounter. The third boss.
So if you try beating it too fast, it goes into hard mode.
Oh, he's kicking my ass too hard. Time to pull it back.
That is an interesting thing to do.
Can you imagine that though? Like after a fight, you get like, if you're starting a fight and you start getting pummeled early on, you think you would sit there taking it. No, you get pissed. Pull out all. He's like, oh, we're pulling out all the stops. Okay, fine.
That's I have like a love-hate with that. Like, okay. All right, now I'm getting
good. All right.
I'm getting punished for being too good. That's kind of it's kind of weird in one way, but at the same time, I'm guessing that maybe there might be different rewards depending on that.
I 100% couldn't stop facing the boss on that hard mode. If I got through with like on the easy mode, I wouldn't accept that. I'm not a true gamer then. What are you talking about? I need to go fight the harder one.
I have a feeling there's gonna be different rewards depending on how you defeat them. I feel
you
like
gotta fight the
that would just make
one.
sense.
That's the way it goes.
Well, yeah, of course.
Boss is the Tiger Vanguard, who appeared in the 2022 trailer. This time, the Tiger Vanguard awaits players as challenges in a blood pool in a temple. According to the developers, this boss will play a role in the storyline as an NPC who imparts the stone solid skill to the protagonist. Therefore, you will witness him using this skill during the battle. One highlight of this scene is how the water reacts and changes dynamically with the actions in combat. The Tiger Vanguard boasts the highest attack speed and aggression among the three bosses. Not only does he possess both physical and spell-based attack abilities, but his combo attacks also deal substantial damage, making it easy to fall victim to his assault.
That dude just he went top rope on him. Like, did you see? Holy hell!
I love the way I like this boss. Honestly, I like the way that he moves whenever he's fighting. His abilities are really cool, and his arena is also super cool. Like it's all
using a lot,
so neat.
He's using a lot of kung fu. The water is just.
It's rippling constantly. It's such a
nice I don't know. Detail. It's red. I don't know if it's actually water.
I don't think it's water, man. I'm gonna lie.
I don't think so either.
I think water
but
is
the
really
fact that
good
it's
to
rippling, splashing as the characters are moving, it's changing as well. So I wonder if this is gonna be the same way as the snow, where it changes the dynamics of how you move.
Yep, I think so.
That'd be another nice touch.
The chapter experience provided during the Hangzhou event that I played the game at is called Purple Cloud Mountain. The overall scenery is somewhat reminiscent of the in-game footage shown in the 2022 trailer. This is a relatively complete level experience, featuring various environments such as forests, villages, and temples. There are also as many as 4 or 5 types of enemies waiting for players along the way. Don't underestimate these minions, as they also possess the ability to deliver a fatal blow to the protagonist with a single strike. There's also
Wait.
How?
So literally, okay, so far we gathered, everybody in this area can one-tap us.
So
has the ability to one-tap us if we do a stupid move is what it sounds like.
Wonderful. That's good. Sekiro's like that. Dark Souls is like that. It needs to be like that.
So it makes it to where every enemy
is an enemy.
Is an actual potential death encounter.
Everything's a threat. It's dangerous.
So a detour path in the level that players might not easily find, where they can encounter a hidden boss, the Poisonous King. This creature has the appearance of a scorpion-like monster. After engaging in conversation with it, players need to break the wine barrel beside it to start the battle. This hidden boss presents the highest level of difficulty in this trial version. It possesses extremely fast attacks, deals heavy damage, and boasts skills that inflict poison on the player. It took me nearly an hour of fighting to defeat it, and there were several instances where I succumbed to poison before being able to use the cure potion in time. And while Black Myth shares some similarities in its mechanics with the Dark Souls series, the combat feel here is quite distinct from any other similar games. In my opinion,
you see that move there?
That's interesting. The way he goes up, and then he dodged it, and then like whenever he slammed back down.
Yeah.
It automatically dodged it. The staff is not part of him.
I mean, it kind of reminds you of Fizz in League of Legends, how he goes back up on his trident. The same thing here, and then he does a flip, right? It's almost the exact same thing. So Wukong here does a flip and smacks him with the elongated staff.
That thing hurts. Remember,
800
kilos. That's a lot of that's a lot of weight.
No, 8,000.
8,000. My bad. That's all on me. 8,000 kilos. That's not a lot. That's not as minor amount of weight, man.
But I mean, that's from the novel. Who knows what this is? There's always different interpretations.
For sure. I guarantee every ounce of media I've ever seen, that staff is unprecedentedly heavy.
Oh man.
You will not pick it up unless you are Wukong. And you don't want to get hit by Wukong because Wukong is able to pick that up. You think he can't just like punch the head off your shoulders?
He can lift mountains, so I mean, you get that, right? So.
He a big Wukong's scary. He fights God.
This distinction arises from the fact that in other Souls-like games, players typically wielded weapons like swords or axes, with the grip at the weapon's end during combat. However, in Black Myth Wukong, the main weapon is a staff, primarily held in the middle. The grip on the staff changes.
Okay, before we go too much further, that doesn't matter that much. It only matters about the length, because if you looked at it and held the staff at the same way, it's going to be about the same length as a short or long sword. Probably closer to a long sword, because I mean the staff is long by itself, so half of it's going to be similar to that. So that doesn't really change too much, but it does change how you have to use it, though.
That is correct.
But I don't think when it comes to length of how far you have to be from somebody, it's going to be very similar.
I don't see that really changing at all. I don't see that really making a difference within this game or Dark Souls. I feel that's just a minor thing that you kind of just like, whenever you're playing the game, you feel it out. Like, it's not something that's so like written in your face. Whenever you grab the item, you know what you're going to do with it. Like, you know it, right? No, it's just something you have to play with in order to really figure out. And so that sounded like a niche thing, kind of just there.
Yeah, I think the difference with this, though, is that, yes, if it was just a staff, it'd be one thing. But the thing is, this staff can change sizes. So it goes from would be, if you're holding in the middle to, we'll say, short sword length, to suddenly being longer than spear length. Like, and you can change it on a dime. It's not like you're switching weapons. So it's almost, this thing is way more versatile. So I don't even see where he's getting at with this.
I don't know.
Because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there was even ability, like the stance thrust, that like he thrusts it from like an easy 30 yards.
Yes.
According to different moves, creating a varied rhythm and action, even changing the length of the staff in combat. The impact feedback from the staff striking enemies is quite distinctive as well. Coupled with the support from the spell system during combat, Black Myth Wukong stands apart as an action RPG with a unique feel, differentiating itself from other ARPG and action games that have come before.
I do like this outfit here.
I do too. I loved all the outfits so far. Every little bit just looks so really, really nice. All the outfits, all the character models, all the area, the greenery, the settings, everything looks super nice and nothing feels out of place.
It seems like
really,
everything
really like it.
Everything fits.
Ultimately, despite developer Game Science providing a substantial amount of gameplay content in this trial version, there are still numerous questions.
Look at that. Look at the character model. That looks like Wukong. Maybe a little white, but that looks like Wukong.
He's Chinese. Of course, it's gotta be white. What's wrong? It makes sense.
No, he's just a little bright for what I'm saying. Like, he's very, very pale. Pale. That's the word. Pale. He's pale. I would expect him to be a little more tan. Just a little.
He's
like,
waiting
come
to be
on.
answered.
He's crispy white.
For example, whether the protagonist.
But okay, it could be that he's just awoken. Who knows?
Oh, true. True. He did come out of a tunnel. Could have just been like the beginning little intro to the demo. It could have been like he could have been like long lost for a while, hidden away, that like put into a stone kind of thing as punishment or something. Easy.
I mean, I could go more into the novel, but you know,
he just looked a little pale for
possesses any other weapons, how the level up system works, and what the skill tree looks like, and how many transformations and spells are available.
Whoa. That looks like the end of the boss fight, and that's a really cool looking boss.
He was drinking from it.
That's a really cool looking boss.
I mean, yeah. If you just look at the, I mean, he's literally, that looks like blood. I'm pretty sure
blood. That's 100% blood.
This dude is drinking blood, staring you down, probably calling you names. Like, I don't.
He's the master. I think he's
like
the master or the creator of the stone thing. Like, he knows he's strong. He doesn't like care what you are.
No, he did go over. We don't know if there's any other weapons or anything in the game. I don't feel like there's really going to be anything.
Why would there be?
There might be different projectiles. Would be a guess.
I think there might be different like magic abilities.
I would think that.
Maybe a different like stance, the way he can stand with it. But I think it'll probably remain the same like Sekiro, where you get your main item and that's it, and then you can like kind of tweak it a bit. But most of the time, like the things that are really going to change are your secondary sidearms or your stance or the way you use any of your abilities. I think the weapon is just going to remain the same.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Which is perfectly fine. I want to use the staff. Like, it's Wukong. I want to use the staff. It's so cool.
All of these questions can only be answered once the game is finally released. Speaking of which, Black Myth Wukong is currently scheduled for release in the summer of 2024 for both PC and next-generation console platforms.
That's
for
so
more
early.
on your favorite games, keep it right here on IGN.
I thought I was going to wait until like early 2025 or late 2024. Not mid. Yes.
So basically, the same time Path of Exile 2 is having their closed beta, this will be looking to release.
I'm definitely gonna look at gameplay trailers or gameplay trailer. I'm gonna look at gameplay releases and see what like people think. Some overall astounding estimations. I think it'll be really good, but a lot of games came out and they weren't so good. So gonna have to give it a little time. But this game looks so absolutely unique and amazing. It looks so solid.
I wanted to. One of the reasons why I wanted to look at this because this was actually somebody that actually had gotten gameplay of it. Now we've gotten other trailers, things like this, but this was actually somebody that had played it.
Yeah, they had played it before.
Got actually a feel of it,
and then was able to tell about it.
So I'm thinking, from what it looks like, this is looking pretty good.
It looks so solid. It looks incredible, amazing. All the.
I think my only thing is that, we've seen some good stuff and we've seen some good boss fights, but what's the world in between those?
Yes.
Is it a bunch of nothing?
That's a major thing. That is a huge portion of it. Like, what kind of enemies do you face, if there is any? What is the storytelling, if there is any?
That's the only thing that concerns me because we didn't see too much of that.
That is a huge make or break.
Again, this is only like a trial thing they got, so this is going to vary.
It might show more what's to come. They might show like the big city of like what's going to happen there, or they won't, and we'll just kind of have to really hope.
Well, I got a good feeling about it anyway. So
I have a really solid feeling. I hope it. I really do hope it
good.
does well. It looks so good, especially for a Souls-like. Man, that game looks so fun.
It has been looking pretty good. I do like this. Hopefully we get something out of this.